Hey everyone, you know why you're here. Bronze through gold, all regions, below 5,000 dust. You can climb the standard ladder without a payday loan. We're going to go right into it. We're not going to waste anyone's time today. Looking at the win rates, Warlock is very high up on the food chain. Paladin was right behind. Druid and Shaman and Death Knight. And then right after that, Demon Hunter, not so great. Mage, not so great. Hunter, not so great. Priest, not so great. Warrior went down. And then Rogue is doing what we talked about before. Rogue can't catch a break, but you know what? Rogue has had breaks for a long time, so don't worry about Rogue. It'll be fine. Not crying in the corner somewhere. It's just planning its revenge, okay? We're going to go through some of the classes right now really quick. I got extra stuff for you before we even talk about the decks. I have some other things about the Masters Tour. You can look at all those. Look at Death Knight. Corpsicle. That's very strong. That's hanging around a lot more than I thought. There's 33,000 games, and then right underneath is Plague Death Knight. What I'm seeing here when I'm looking at this, remember, it's bronze through gold, last 7 days. Plague isn't doing so right, but it's still winning some games, okay? When you look at that 49.7%, don't go crazy on that. And then Death Rattle, Death Knight is another big one. I'm not as much of a fan of the Death Rattle or the Corpsicle because I like Plague. I love hand buff, and I also like the Rainbow Razzle Death Knight. So that Razzler Dazzler buff, it did some stuff, some pretty cool stuff. And then there's also the Frost Death Knight. And listen, my understanding is that the Masters Tour was on this weekend so far. I think we're up to 2 days so far of the Masters Tour. And the Frost Death Knight deck is doing really good. It's like 100% win rate. Demon Hunter pretty much has Pirate. Big Demon Hunter is at 35%. Ew, that is gross. Dragon Druid, Concierge Druid, it's almost the same exact thing. Ramp is not that great. Highlander is just gone off the map. Treant Druid is not anything. Hunter, Secret Hunter. We're going to talk about Secret Hunter. And then also Spell Token Hunter. Now, we've talked about both of these back and forth a couple of weeks here and there. But yeah, we're just going to talk about it again because it is pretty cheap. And then Highlander Hunter is also there. Highlander Hunter is expensive, though. All the Highlander decks are super expensive. Mage, listen, Elemental and Big Spell Mage and Spell Mage, those are going to win you games. We'll talk about those a little bit. If you have a lot of mage cards, you should be playing mage until they make some mage nerfs or until new cards come out because it's just super easy to win games. I played 4 games against my wife this evening and I lost all 4 because what is she doing? She's playing some crazy mage deck that she built. And yeah, I can't beat her. I guess I'm going to quit Hearthstone. Paladin, hand buff, flood, mining. You know the drill. It's not going away. There's some Earthen Paladin stuff moving around on social media, and it looks really cool. Just a little expensive right now. So I'm looking at that. I'm going to start playing with those decks soon. If I see anything new, I will let you know. Priest, Zarimi, and Heal. We're going to talk about Heal Priest here because it is very, very cheap, but Zarimi is just too expensive. Just too many cards that you're going to need. You're going to have to spend some dust to that, so we're not going to talk about there. Look at Rogue. There's not one deck above 50%. You're going to win games with Rogue. It's just a statistical anomaly that, you know, that you play 5 games, 10 games, and you won't win any games. It's not that bad. But yeah, you're not going to be winning a lot of games. You're not going to be climbing the ladder as much as some of these other decks that are out there. Shaman, Evolve, Elemental, Pirate, Highlander. Shaman's moving up in the world. Evolve is getting up there pretty high. We talked about Evolve a lot last 2 expansions, so I'm sure we'll be talking about Evolve pretty soon. And then Warlock has the usual thing. I keep on saying usual thing, but if you go back the last 3 videos, when we've talked about this, it's been the same thing. Pain, Insanity, Hand, Sludge. You know the drill. And then look, Warrior is just blah. Highlander Warrior is awesome, but it's blah. Odin Warrior just eking out of the 49.7%. I'm sure you'll win games with that. We talked about Odin Warrior last week, but it's nothing right now. So I've got 3 decks for you. We'll talk about some of the Masters Tour decks, and let's just get right into it. First of all, we're going to talk about Heal Priest. I said I was going to. It's a 52.5% win rate, and it's at 2,800 dust. And listen, it might be difficult for everybody to understand. What is this going to do? This is going to heal. And what does healing do? You know what it does. I don't want to sound silly. Listen, I am not a great priest player. If you're looking at these win rates, you're noticing that the win rates went up, and then the past couple of days, the win rates go down. So the popularity is not that great either. So your mileage may vary, but if you have a lot of priest cards, you might be able to play this. There's only one legendary in this entire deck right now, and that's Aman'Thul. And you know what Aman'Thul does? It annoys people a lot. So Crimson Clergy, we have this. The overheal is a draw card, so you have infinite card draw, and then you have several cards that'll help you get that health. So restore 3 health to all friendly characters. Flash heal to restore the health that way. Funnel Cake. So Funnel Cake will help you get the mana crystals back. So you could do some real heavy games at one turn. You'll be able to play a whole bunch of cards with those. So Funnel Cake, Tidepool Pupil, this card needs to be nerfed. I believe it absolutely needs to be nerfed. It's just an infinite loop with some of the decks. I think this is one of the strongest cards of this recent expansion, 100%. And I'm sure I'm not the only one that believes that. Creation Protocol, we love this one. We love the Forge. Discover a copy of a minion in your deck and get another copy. You can get multiple items, multiple cards, depending on what one you're looking for. It could be situational. You could be wanting another Clergy. You could be wanting another Aman'Thul. You could be doing a lot of fun stuff with that. Dirty Rat. Dirty Rat is, you know what it does. It just disrupts what your opponent's getting ready to play. Just make sure you have a counter to what that's going to pull out. This is going to pull out something that you might not want to have right now. Okay, Hidden Gems. Hidden Gem has stealth, and at the end of your turn, restore 2 health to all friendly characters. We want that for the overheal mechanic. We want that to keep our characters alive. Holy Spring Water. Restore 8 health. You know what this one does. 1 cost bottle for the remainder of whatever you did not spend. The Power Chord Synchronize. This one right here also allows you to grab another one of your minions, regardless of which one you need. And then the finale would be give both +1/+2. It's got Thrive in the Shadows to discover a spell. You know what you're going to be able to get. Whatever the spells that are in your deck, it's going to give you another one that you get to choose from. Injured Hauler. Deal 4 damage to this minion as the battle cry. And then the overheal is deal 2 damage to all enemy minions. This will help you clear the boards because there's going to be a lot of overheal in this. We just saw that. Pendant of Earth, discover a minion from your deck, restore health to your hero equal to its cost. So this is a good way to get more health. I mean, this is exactly what this is. This is Heal Priest. Also, rest in peace. Each player summons their highest cost minion that died this game. You can get multiple Aman'Thuls. You can get multiple Injured Haulers. You know what to do. And then Puppet Theaters. Choose an enemy minion. Get a 1/1 copy of it that costs 1. This will disrupt your opponent's plays. Absolutely. And then Aman'Thul is there. You can create multiple copies of that or what have you. Again, I'm going over the cards. This deck is super not popular yet, but it is something. If you're looking for a change of pace, playing Priest, it's 52.5%. Next up, we're going to talk about Sonya Rogue. Sonya Rogue is at 5,000 dust, and it's a 54.3% win rate. There's several options here for Sonya Rogue, and some of them are very, very expensive. This one's eking out right at the 5,000 dust, but the popularity is growing a little tiny bit, and then the win rate is bouncing up a little bit. This one has been showing up, not this specific deck, but in the Masters Tour today, there was a whole bunch of Sonya Rogue. And the idea is this. The idea is using the Sonya Water Dancer card to, play a whole bunch of 1-cost cards, get a copy of the cost 0. You're going to want to make your weapon super, super huge and then smack your opponent in the face to end the game. Preparation, we knows what it does. Air Guardian, give your weapon +1 durability. That's going to help you. Okay, Deadly Poison. Deadly Poison is one of the ones that you want Sonya to just keep on repeating. Give your weapon +2 attack. Gear Shift. Shuffle the 2 most, draw 3 cards. You know what this one does. This is just helping you find the right cards that you need. Glacial Shard freezes an enemy, which is going to help disrupt what your opponent has on the board. You know what that one does. South Sea. It's just an extra bonus that you can do when you have a weapon equipped to just take more damage to your opponent's face. Stick up, discover a quick draw card from another class. You know, rogues doing rogue things. This one, like I said, it's at 54.3%, even though there's not a lot on the class breakdown. Tidepool Pupil, we talked about this. It's just broken. It's just a broken card. It's very, very cheap. You leave it in your hand and then you just have an extra spell and you can just keep on doing this 100%. Valyr's Gift gives you a temporary backstab, deadly poison, or fan of knives. You know what this does. It's situational based on what you need. Eviscerate, it does what Eviscerate always does. Harmonic Hip Hop, deal 1 damage, give your weapon +3 attack, and then it swaps each turn, so you can use it situationally. Quick Pick is the weapon, so it's one attack, 2 charges, or what have you. After your hero attacks, draw a card. You can also, if you don't have it right there, but you have the ability to make big swings, just use your regular, your regular weapon as you get for your hero power. But this is the one I would try to use. Mic Drop, draw 2 cards. The finales, give your weapon +2 attack. See what it's doing here. It's going to make that weapon huge. Okay. Swarthy Sword Shiner, can't say that. Set the attack durability of your weapon to 3. This is good to set that up for that crazy Sonya turn. Grifter gets the amazing amulet, and then your opponent gets a crappy one. And then, yeah, Sonya. This is what you're doing. You're throwing out Sonya. Hopefully you're getting some stuff cheap, and then you're deadly poisoning your weapon a whole bunch of times. You're doing some other stuff with it, and then boom, you have South Sea. You have a huge, crazy weapon, and you're just hitting your opponent in the face, and the game is over. It's pretty fast reactions. There is not a lot of ways to take down your opponent's full board, but there is some things there that you can use situationally. This is going to be a little bit more difficult than some of the very upfront OTKs or what have you. You're going to have to think when you're playing Rogue. When you're playing Priest and when you're playing Rogue, it's not just a click a button, and you've won the game. Last up that we're going to talk about today for the decks is Secret Hunter. This one's at 4,000 dust. This one's a 63.9% win rate. This one only has 1 legendary card, and that is Product 9. Recast every friendly secret that triggered this game. We know what this is talking about. This is a Secret Hunter deck, so we definitely want this card. Okay, if you do not have Product 9, I'm not saying to craft it, I'm saying not to craft it, but I don't know if Hunter is the right class for you right now, because there's a lot of decks right now that are not doing great in Hunter, and they're also very, very expensive. Bunch of bananas, you know what it does. Costume Singers is going to draw you that secret as soon as possible. Sneaky Snakes gives you this 2 things on board that have stealth for you to use it later on. Vicious Slither Spirit is an awesome card. After you cast a spell, gain +1 attack until your next turn. Try to keep it on board as much as you can. Bait and Switch, great secret. After a friendly minion is attacked, give it +3/+3. Bargain Bin, secret, we know what that one does. Barrel of Monkeys, keeping stuff on board to have some of those secrets counteract it or work with it. Not counteract it, that would be silly. Explosive Trap, when your hero is attacked, deal 2 damage to all enemies. The opponent is not going to know what you're doing. There's just so many secrets in here. Hidden Meaning, Ice Trap, Patchwork Pals get 3 animal companions. So you have a couple of cards that are giving you some minions to keep on the board, and then you're just using secrets to disrupt the opponent's plays, or disrupt the opponent's board, or make sure every time the opponent's hitting you, whether it's hitting you or one of your minions, it's just making you even stronger. Rat Trap, you know what that does. Titan Forge, this is one of the greatest Hunter cards that I would use all the time. If I played Hunter all the time, it's just great. You forge it, make sure you forge it. Observer of Mysteries, cast 2 random secrets at the start of your turn. So it's just secrets, essentially. And then look, costs 1 less for each spell you've cast while holding this. So how about a 0 mana 5/5 just throwing on the board? Product 9 recasts everything. Don't put this out until you've put a lot of secrets out there. And then Starstring Bow, Costs 1 less for each friendly secret that is triggered this game. You're getting a super low cost right there. So it's a little bit of attrition damage. Here, and here. Little minion here, little attack here from the weapon before you know it. And then your opponent is just trying to deal with what secret do you have being played right now. It is a fun deck, and between the 3 decks, it's a lot easier to pilot. One of the things I wanted to talk about, like I said, last 7 days, below 5,000 dust. I just want to talk about some of the classes in terms of what decks do we have right now. Unholy is a good option for a budget player. Death Rattle Death Knight is a low-cost option. If we're talking about Demon Hunter, we have Pirate Demon Hunter a little bit too high for the 5,000. That's just because it's being refined. There are decks that are Pirate Demon Hunter that are lower than 5,000 dust. Their win rates are not as good. When the game, the expansion first came out, Pirate Demon Hunter was doing great. It's just because the deck wasn't refined and the counters to those decks weren't refined. So what you saw during the launch of Perils in Paradise is not as great. Going through Druid, you have multiple options. It's right up at the close to 5,000 dust. You got Dragon Still, Treant, Concierge. You got 1 or 2 versions of Concierge Druid, and that will win you games absolutely. Hunter is like right here. Secret, an Amalgam right here is at 50.8. I checked this out yesterday, and it was like 51%. So it's moving slightly. Amalgam is just not there. You need more dust to be able to play Hunter, in my opinion. Mage, you've got a lot of options. And what I mean by that is you have 2 decks that you can play, but you have so much versatility based on what you have. There is multiple versions of Elemental Mage. There is multiple versions of Spell Mage. And then you're going back to Elemental Mage and then Spell Mage. Anywhere from 1,250 dust all the way to 4,000 dust. You have a lot of options. So if Mage is the class that you have a lot of cards for, you will be able to win some games. Paladin has the normal stuff. You got a hand buff Paladin at 58.9%, 720 dust. You cannot beat that. It's still pretty high at 3,240, but Flood is winning games. Aura Paladin, see there's an Earthen right here that's at 6,660 with a 43.6%. I think that's just because it's, bronze through gold. I believe the people that are playing this right now are much higher up on the ladder, if you will. Priest, you have that heal priest, you have Zarimi, it's right there. Zarimi is 6,240. You do not have a lot of options if you're on a budget. Sonya's right there. And then look, you're not seeing much except for when you go to mining at 51%, but it's 7,500 dust. Shaman is expensive. Do I think we'll have some good Shaman decks that are below 5? I'm hoping so, but there's a lot of cards that are needed for Shaman. Maybe we'll see something. Maybe we'll see something on the Evolved Shaman side. That's what I'm hoping for in the coming weeks. And remember, we got a mini set in a month and a half. Warlock, Warlock is expensive. So if you have some of these cards, good news is some of these cards are older. They're not brand new cards like Popgar and things like that. So you might not, need to craft a lot because you've already crafted them from the last expansion. So yeah, Popgar is in a bunch of these. So just remember that. And then the last thing is Warrior. Warrior's got Odin at 4280. And you see this is 55%. We talked about it. There's only 340 games calculated on HS Replay. So it's not going to be a lot there, but you can still win some games. And then it goes right up. It goes from 4,200 dust to 7,000 dust. And the win rate doesn't change. So just the amount of times it's been played is the only thing that changed. Your mileage may vary on all of this. And then look, also, I'm going to leave this link here. If you have a little bit more than 5,000 dust, these are the decks that were played this weekend's Masters Tour Summer Championship. All the decks are here. All the deck codes are here. If you go on Twitch, if you go on YouTube, you'll be able to watch all of these masters play these decks, and they're very skilled. You know, they're the top of the top players in the world, and they're fighting for, you know, the championship for the Masters Tour, so you know they're very good. So if you're looking for the best players to be piloting the best decks right now, you'll be able to do that. Just mind you, some of these matches are infinitely long. You know, there was a Priest Mirror match the first start, and it was a long going match. So like I said, it's both on Twitch and it's both on YouTube. And that's about it for this week. I do this every Monday. I'm glad you're here, and I will see you in the next video.